Hey Peggy, it's Rano. I did a little bit of research and I want to show you some of the things that I was thinking about for my coat. Now, I do believe there's possibly two coats here because I'm trying to combine ideas, and by seeing these two coats together I realized that I'm trying to create two things that may not necessarily work. So I'm going to show you these two coats and then see if we can make both of them but also add elements of one into the other. So this is like the idea that I'm looking for. Hopefully you can see my mouse. This guy right here is a real example of how I want to dress for Burning Man, except not so rugged in that way. But I love the idea of a vest. I love this jacket. The cuff is really cool. I love the treatment here and the details. I love that it's flowy and it's just below the knees, not all the way to the ground. I like the scarf that I would wear at Burning Man and just the overall look of it. Now, the this is a live in-person version of that. It's a similar kind of badass, if you will, look that I like with a vest, similar ideas. So it's that vein. And then adding a little bit of fur on the top with a hood that went over, that potentially the fur and the hood is one unit that snaps on somehow, and then that becomes this kind of piece over that. I like this kind of finish to the whole thing of this guy. He's King Arthur's father, Uther, and you know, this kind of detail. If it was longer, obviously, but I like those little ribbings, and I like this kind of collar. As you can see, I'm not a huge fan of this kind of collar. It's cool, but it's unpractical. I like this version a lot better. And then, you know, with this kind of trim, this kind of finish and trim here, and maybe cuffs more like that, and this combined in that. And then I love these pieces of metal. Like, imagine these pieces of metal if you look back down over here. Love these pieces of metal. And then if you look down over here, adding those like to something like this, I think would be really, really cool. So that's that coat. I think that it's a potentially a really tough one to make, and but at the same time it could be really, really cool. And then Burning Man, let's just look at these for fun over here first. So these Burning Man coats are similar in regard in some ways. Now this has got a shiny little pattern, but it's a similar kind of length and type of coat, right? Even hers is a similar kind of length. This one, I love the way that the hood is. I love the way this falls. I love the length. I love the way this looks. Like, that's exactly right as well. So somehow combining this look and feel with this kind of elements, with the hood potentially being able to come, if it's more this kind, then the hood comes off. But if it's all fuzz and fur, then it can be more in this vein. And we can have over here, we can have this come up and all the way around, and maybe a fur collar to make it easier than doing some of these elements, and so make a simpler version of this coat for now. So this has got, you know, a buckles or something on this flowing type coat, and then the back, instead of just being all fur or as detailed as all this, which could be cool, you know, maybe it's just got like a patch in it or some silver or gold things going around it, or some detail on the cuff. And potentially, you know, something like that, and this is all fur, and that's leather or something like that. This is that coat here that I'm trying to design, but I'm trying to see if how to make this the easiest. So this kind of coat with these kind of buckles, that kind of trim, and this kind of style with a hood, and that has a matching set of boots would be great. And then I think this is separate. If you think they're separate, then we'll make two different coats. If whichever one's easier to make first, let's get that one, because that can be Burning Man. And so then my thought would be to do this one in that brown material with the fur fuzz.